Welcome to Wine Soundtrack Canada. Listen to the passion with which producers narrate their winery and their world. In 30 Answers, discover their stories, personalities, and passions.
Hello, friends and listeners of Wine Soundtrack Canada. It is me, Christine Campbell, and today I am delighted to be sitting in Mt Lehman winery called Singletree Winery, and we are in Abbotsford, and I have the pleasure of sitting with Debbie Etsell, proprietor of Singletree Winery. Welcome so much, Debbie. Can you please tell the listeners and me a little bit about Singletree?
Sure, we're a family-owned vineyard and winery. We're in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada, which is an emerging wine region. This is something new for people. Many years ago, you never would have thought of this area as growing wine, and it's actually the same as some parts of Europe. Germany and Switzerland and that were on the same parallel, so it's perfect, and it's so much fun introducing people to our wines. We're family-owned and operated. It's my husband, myself, our son, and a daughter-in-law. So there's 4 of us involved, and we all have different duties on the winery, and we just love having people come over and enjoy our wine.
What a wonderful introduction, and I'm already feeling at home and very comfortable here. How many acres of land do you currently have, Debbie?
So we actually own 67 acres, but 14 and a half of it is in vineyard right now.
And how many cases of wine a year do you produce?
So we're doing about 4,000 cases right now.
And if you had to talk to me about what types of wines you are known for, if there is 1 or 2 varieties that is kind of the Singletree banner wine, why don't you tell us about that?
So let's get ziggy with it. Our Zygereba is what we're really known for. It's a child of Gewürztraminer with a cross between Madeleine Angevine and Gewürztraminer. This is a Germanic, fruit-forward, aromatic, really fun, easy drinking white wine.
I've had it and it is delicious. I can give you a big check of approval on that. What would you say your current markets are? Where are you selling your wine?
Of course, because we're in a new emerging area, all the locals are just like, wow, we've got wine here and come, but it is expanded immensely over the years. We've been in operation for 6 years now, and we're getting international. We're getting, after the restrictions were lifted from COVID, we've got many people coming from all over the world again, Spain, France, Africa, UK. We also are starting to see our US visitors come back, which we're so excited about. And then, of course, I would say this lower mainland and Alberta are probably our core.
Debbie, what would you say if you were to look back over your life? What was your first memory relevant to wine?
Oh, university. Everybody that comes into the wine shop that's about my age, we always laugh and talk about Blue Nun Liefermilch. Everybody that's around my age, it was what we all sort of started off with, so.
What a fun answer. I haven't had that before, but I love it. I absolutely love it. Do you have a memorable, or what was the most or first truly memorable wine you enjoyed? And if you can recall that, what was the occasion? One of your maybe aha wine moments that you thought, this is something pretty darn special and I love this liquid.
I remember the first time I tried a Planeta Chardonnay for my birthday. And the richness and the balance of the oak, which was very forward, but also the butteriness and that, it was, for me, I went, wow. And it just made my birthday more special.
What's better than Chardonnay on your birthday? Like, seriously, that's like perfect pairing right there. I am a hardcore Chardonnay person. Would you say traveling the world abroad, what is the best foreign wine you have enjoyed? What, either not necessarily the label, but what country did you really enjoy drinking wines from?
So our last name is Etsell, which is actually Etsell from Germany. We go there a lot. We have many friends over there. They would kill us if we didn't say German wines. But it does turn out to be that we have toured a lot of areas in Germany and really enjoy their Pinot Noirs and a lot, of course, their cool climate whites as well.
Beautiful answer. Okay, here's kind of a fun one. around all the world population, what country do you think drinks the best in quality of wine day to day?
Oh.
And there's no wrong answer with these questions.
Between two.
Okay, well then give us both.
France and Italy.
Yep, that seems to be what people believe. Absolutely. Currently, in the Singletree cellars you've got, what wine is giving you the most satisfaction? What wine are you reaching for over and over again?
So we grow a varietal called Gruner Veltliner, an Austrian grape, and it is really hard to find in North America. And I told you we have these German friends and friends in Europe. We ski with them usually, and we were introduced to Gruner over there, and we just love it. And we took a chance and actually grew it on our property here. And I love introducing people to Gruner Veltliner. It happens to be my sushi wine. It's fabulous with food, so it's really fun just having a wine that other people wouldn't have the chance to try if they didn't travel or if they didn't know about it. So it's been my one that I have the most pleasure sort of showing people what we can grow here, and a different wine that's something completely different.
I'm a Gruner fan, absolutely. They're so fantastic, kind of quirky and yet brilliant, right?
It is. And I mean, in Austria, they can do it everything from a sparkling, dry, in between, sweet, dessert even. So it's been really fun to find out what this terroir is giving to the wine there. And definitely ours is a little bit on the drier side with a touch of honey and always that white pepper finish.
Yum! Now I want sushi and a glass of that. Thank you for getting my taste buds tingling just with your words. Fantastic. Debbie, do you believe that there is such a thing as a perfect grape variety? No wrong answers.
Well, we always hear diversity of life right now. I don't think there is a perfect one. I think being able to enjoy many different varietals is a joy of life, for sure.
Beautiful. In your opinion, what do you think about wine critics and wine scores? Are they important to you or are they not?
Well, it's nice to have some affirmation when you're producing a product. We always talk about it's like Christmas every year for us. When you try the wine that you produced from last year, it's like opening a new present because it's always something different. And putting it out there to people that know about wine and test it and can give you some feedback, even if it's bad, it's a good thing. Good and bad, it's great to have that feedback. Some of our guests enjoy knowing which ones have awards, others don't care. So it just depends on the person.
Fantastic answer. As a consumer, as a wine consumer, do you tend to prefer white, red, or rosés more than another, or do you?
So when guests come into the winery, they go, "What's your favorite wine?" I'm going, that's like trying to pick my favorite child. And even to pick a favorite wine, it depends on, if I'm having seafood, I'm going for rosé. If it's a day where it's a bit blustery, I'm reading a book, I want a rich red to cuddle me as well. And on a summer or spring day where I want something lighter, I'll go for a white. So I love them all. I can't choose one.
Okay. That's fine, and you can answer however you want. Do you tend more often to reach for still wines or sparkling wines?
I would say still, but I love sparkling.
Okay, regarding sparkling, do you prefer champagne as your top, or is there something else that you want to tell us about?
Ooh, I'm akin to Prosecco style. I had the chance to travel to Prosecco Road and try a whole bunch of different Proseccos there. That was one of my dreams, to go there. I tend to like that light, refreshing sort of sparkling, but do enjoy a champagne as well.
I've not been to Prosecco Road.
Oh, it just got claimed a UNESCO site. It's not very big. It's quaint. It's amazing what the families in that are making over there. They're even doing some natural fermented Proseccos that we would never think of, at least within my scope of people that I know. But it's just a romantic wine region to go to, and it's not super busy yet, but I'm thinking it will get there pretty quick.
You heard it here first, listeners, so get your tickets and get over there. Okay, you talked about pairing seafood with rosé just a few seconds ago. Have you ever paired a white wine with red meat or a red wine with fish?
I do Pinot Noir with salmon. For sure, that's a slam dunk for me. On the white wines, it's a little bit harder. I do enjoy a Chardonnay, something with a little bit more body, even a little bit of oak that will with meat. So yes, I have done that as well.
Good. I like that you're eating and drinking outside of the box, coloring outside the lines, because, what is life? You don't always have to stay within what people say, correct?
Well, playing a bit of an adventure with your wine isn't a bad thing.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, I love this question. You've had that extra one glass of wine, just one, maybe 1.5. I know I've been there. Do you have a cure for a hangover that you want to share with the listeners? And it could be whatever you say. We're all ears.
A very wise German lady in Berlin told me the secret of fresh ginger steeped in hot water, and it's amazing. I've told many people about it. She had sons that would party a lot in Berlin, and that was what she had said would work.
Guess what I'm buying on my way home? Some fresh ginger, because why not? Let's give it a shot. What does a non-drinker lose out on by not tasting your wine, Debbie?
They miss some exciting wines from the Fraser Valley region, which people would never think of. It is something new to behold and a fun experience. It's always, you can always have the same wine, but when you stretch your boundaries, it will gift you back for sure.
You are just a delightful guest. I love all of your answers. I'm having so much fun with you. This is fantastic. And as I say that, I ask the question, the one of the fun questions. Space aliens land in your vineyard property. You're looking out over these beautiful vines and you recognize that there's somebody from outer space out there. What wine do you offer them from Singletree Winery to taste as an introduction to what it is you do here?
My first reaction is, give them the wild Ziggy. It's our natural fermented way out there. If they're aliens, I'm going for the way out there wine. But I have to say Zigareba, because what we're known for is our Ziggy.
I like the wild Ziggy. That sounds super perfect and perfect for aliens, right? Do you believe with the fact that each vintage tells a different story? Or do you believe the opposite is true and things are more similar or opposite from year to year?
I love doing this thing where I give 3 different vintages to somebody that comes in to show them what each year does, because they can't believe that I tell them that this year was really cold, therefore this is, instead of being a peach note in the stone fruits, you're going to get a little bit more apple. It may be a little bit softer, or in the red wines it may not be quite as deep and rich. It might be just a little bit more subtle from other years. So, or even in our Zigareba, sometimes we'll get elderflower, and other years we'll get rose petal notes in the floral side of it. So yeah, no, not every year is exact. And when people come in and say, I love that 2015 Zigareba, which was that super hot year, well, we go, well, that was a special one, but this is the one that's closest to it.
Yeah. And 100%. I don't think that that's why we call them vintages.
And I think that's part of the fun of the wine industry is, yes, they're should have similarities, but to be exactly the same, again, it's that diversity thing. Do you want to drink exactly the same all the time when there's so much choice out there to enjoy?
Amen. Do you have any good luck rituals for when harvest is about to start?
Getting up in the morning and enjoy. I love harvest time. People go, oh, it's so hard to harvest the grapes, because in British Columbia, almost all the wineries handpick. And I find it so enjoyable because it's the end of your fruits of your labors of that particular harvest. And to be out there, it's just picking grapes. It's fabulous.
Talking about picking grapes, I've learned that some producers walk in their cellars and speak to the wines in the barrels. Do you do that? And if so, what do you say? And do you speak to the vines in the vineyard?
So our son's the winemaker. I haven't heard him mumbling to himself in the, I should ask that question, but I'm not 100% sure. As far as the grapes, I sometimes just walk through the vines and go, what a beautiful day, and it's awesome out here. So I'm sure they hear me.
Beautiful words of affirmation, like, you're doing so good. Debbie, when you were little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
An oceanographer.
Wow, tell me about that.
I swam a lot. I was in swim teams, and I had a love for water, but I'm also a little bit claustrophobic, so oceanography didn't quite work out for me. So did we ever plan on owning a winery either? Not at all. So this has come because both of our sons wanted to stay in farming, and we're also turkey farmers, and we needed to diversify. Our son went to University of Fraser Valley, took the horticulture course, and the professor sent him to do a practicum at one of the most well-known wineries in British Columbia, and he came home and said, I know what I want to do. And we said, what? And he said, I would like to do a winery. And we went, we like wine, and here we are.
That's the story of how Singletree came to be.
Yes, that's it. And actually the Singletree, which is on all of our labels, our last name is Etsell, and we get called everything. So Etsell Estates wasn't in the future at all. But we are farmers first. The property we own is in heritage, and we're also a family, and we wanted one word. So it's actually the implement that goes behind the workhorse, and they're curved in the vineyards, not straight like you usually see them. And this was perfect for us to talk about family, history, and farming all in one.
And so can you just explain a little bit more about what is a Singletree?
Yeah, so if you see some old pictures of workhorses, behind the horse, lower to the ground, will be a wooden implement that the reins go through that connect to the farmer. And the farmer usually has like a plow or something that's being pulled by. So it's the interface. It's what's between the farmer and the horse that guides the reins up to the horse.
Well, I learned something today. Thank you so much. Debbie, when you're not working, how do you spend your free time? Don't say working.
I'm not. I love gardening. That's my therapeutic joy. People think, are you crazy? But I love it. I just planted my dahlias the other day, and I was in heaven. I was so happy pulling weeds because you look at it and you've accomplished something. So I love gardening.
Gardening is one of those things that you can actually see the fruits of your labor very quickly, just with the weeding or clearing out a patch or planting some new flowers.
Yeah, and I would have to say travel, and especially travel to see other wine regions, is on the bigger picture. It's the big sort of health check, the one that everybody needs, and for us, it's definitely travel.
Do you do any sport in particular?
Yeah, I was very athletic, as I said, in high school. On that, I'm hiking. I love walking and hiking. We have a lot of trails around here that I love telling people when the guests come into the winery. They're always the internationals want to go somewhere walking or hiking, so it comes in very handy to be able to do that.
You're also a tour guide, it sounds like. You could set up your own booth outside with tours. Debbie, who is your or one of your favorite singers or groups over the course of your lifetime?
Favorite singer, I have to say Adele right now. I love Adele. It's very soothing. It's impactful. There's times where it's a bit raw, and there's times when it's a bit tender. So yeah, Adele I am really enjoying.
Nice answer. Do you have a favorite film dedicated to wine?
Oh, dedicated to wine, darn.
Well, you can tell us your favorite film, and then if you can't think of one dedicated to wine, you can just say whatever you wanted to say first.
Gosh, was there any wine in The Sound of Music?
I think
sure
so.
They had to have some. I didn't notice it, but I have to say, my hands down. I always love Sound of Music. Maybe that's why Austria also, although the Austrians don't enjoy all the people going for the Sound of Music tours, but I know Sound of Music is definitely meant, if you say film, right away. If I was to think of a wine, I always have to laugh at Sideways because people come in here, oh, I've seen Sideways, I don't like Merlot. Have you tasted Merlot? Would you try it and just tell me what you think? And it's amazing how many people go, actually, I do like Merlot. And I'm going, see, it always can't go by what's in a movie, but you can enjoy watching them.
Yeah, it really did do a number on our sweet Merlot grapes, but I think that Merlot is a stunning variety and it deserves as much respect as any of them, including Pinot Noir.
Well, it might have made people, what is he talking about? Maybe I better try this. So, hey, it could go both ways.
Absolutely. Okay, you're sitting down for a really romantic evening out at a restaurant. What wine do you order to kick off the evening?
We always order Prosecco. My sisters laugh. You guys and your Prosecco. When we're going traveling, we go to the airport, we start off with our glass of Prosecco. But when we go out even to any of the restaurants, we always start with a glass of sparkling.
Perfect. Are you a supporter of any national, provincial sports teams or...
By going to the games?
Or just cheering for them? Do you have a team that you tend to root for and follow?
I'm a Canucks fan. My dad had 4 daughters, and every Saturday night he'd sit down, and in the 60s he would make supper. It would always be hot dogs or hamburgers and give mom a night off, and his 4 daughters would watch hockey, so it was instilled in me at a young age. I even wore my jersey to Germany when we were in the playoffs. In Germany, I'm wearing a Canucks jersey.
I love that. I want to see a picture. Okay, so when the Canucks win the Stanley Cup, what Singletree Winery wine would you gift them to celebrate their victory with?
Has to be our traditional method, champagne style. Our Merrifield, which is actually named after the founder of this farm. It's made with our Pinot Noir and Chardonnay, tiny bubbles, vintage fermentation, something special. Hey, celebrate with a Fraser Valley sparkling.
Love that. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received? It doesn't have to be around winemaking, it just in life in general, or winemaking, however you would choose to answer.
So many good bits of advice. So there's one, and I have a sign across our bedroom cabinet that says, always kiss me goodnight. To be as a couple and always respect each other and show that with a kiss is something that I treasure.
Well, and that would be advice for us too. So thank you. I think that that's beautiful. What would you say is your proudest achievement in regards to your work?
Can I say my kids? That's where
you can, but then you can answer for work.
Okay. For work, we're a family-owned winery, and seeing your child be so passionate about something, and I'm just so proud of what he's done with the wine. It's amazing. If I was to speak more internal and personally, I would say I love dealing with the guests in the wine shop. I love making sure it's a great experience for them and being able to talk with them. We don't do spiels about our wine. I teach all of my staff to be personal about it. Tell them what you see about the wine and relay that to the guests and to have that interaction. So I would say I just love being with the people in the wine shop.
Aw, well, aren't you lovely? I'd like you to complete the following sentence, please. A table without wine is like...
an unclothed person.
Well, I've never had that answer before, but I like it.
It's not complete.
Unless you're a nudist.
Well, they like wine too, so.
They do. That's a fun answer. What sort of wines do you think that we will be enjoying in 100 years from now?
I think we're going to see some more of those natural wines, the more natural methods. As there's challenges with climate change and everything, I just think we're going to be going back to some of those real basics and seeing some of the sort of rawness and trueness of a wine too.
Beautiful. So talking about climate change a little bit, do you think we will still be drinking wine in 2,000 years' time from now?
I think all farmers adapt. That's one of the reasons we even got into the wine industry here. We could see the temperature of the heat units going up, and we could see that it was going to be almost perfect for us within 10 years of when we planted. I'm watching the world, and farmers know how to morph into what's given to them, and I'm seeing that in the wine industry, so I think it's treasured enough. It'll stay. Look how long ago wine started, so there'll be a way for us to figure out how to do it. Maybe there's going to be vertical farming in wineries.
Well, that would be something, wouldn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, you can choose either or, a deserted island or outer space. Yes, there seems to be a space alien theme weaved through here. Can you name me 3 wines you would take with you to either a deserted island or out to outer space that you would be able to enjoy for the rest of your lifetime?
By varietal or by winery?
Anything you want to answer. No wrong answer.
Okay. I would take Little Engines, Chardonnay. I have to take our Victory, our Prosecco style Zigareba. I love that one. And then for a red, I would take Burrowing Owl's Cab Franc.
You chose 3 BC wineries. Well, one of your own, of course.
Of course I chose a BC winery. Everybody's trying to support local, but also be adventuresome with, I just bought a couple of rosés from across the world. So I'm always buying other ones. It's not just ours. And I enjoy other wineries. And people are always shocked to hear that. And I'm going, life's too short to not enjoy all wines.
Yes. Yes, all of the yes. I totally agree with you. And nice choices, by the way, for all of you listeners who haven't tried those 3 wines. I have, and I absolutely agree with you. They're gorgeous. What winemaking area in the world would you like to explore? I know you've said you've done a lot of traveling, and that's kind of one of your heartfelt passions. Where would you like to go that you haven't been yet?
Actually looking into it right now, into Portugal, the Douro area. So something completely different. We've been to Lanzarote in the Canary Islands where they grow vines in lava rocks that you have to see because it's just, talk about alien. It's amazing to see something so different. But right now, my next list is Portugal.
Well, keep me in the loop, please. That's on my bucket list too. So wouldn't that be fun if we could reconnect over there? Okay, we're not quite finished yet. It's now time for a little game we like to play. It is the Wine Soundtrack Canada, so we have to have a few musical pairings in here. I'm going to pick 3 different wine varieties, and I'd love for you to tell me a song you would like to pair with that wine, or if you can't find a specific song, maybe a singer or band. And if all of that is kind of too much, you can just hand me a genre, a musical genre. Okay, so let's say Siggy.
Ziggy's kind of fun and upbeat, so Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, fantastic. We talked a little bit about Merlot, and I would love you to pair something with Merlot.
We have a really nice, smooth, deep Merlot, so I think of Eric Clapton.
You're knocking it out of the park. Final variety was, of course, it's going to be Gruner Veltliner.
Ooh, Gruner Veltliner. Okay, so let's go back to Sound of Music and just, oh gosh, which one from The Sound of Music? Oh, what's the one where they're all dressed up in the curtains and running around? Dowoody, or no, yeah, that one.
or what about The Hills Are Alive with Sound of Music? Because isn't that the captain that starts singing that?
That's right. And I'm going, and that's where Gruner comes from. So let's go with that.
Let's go with the entire musical soundtrack of The Sound of Music for Gruner.
There had to be Gruner in there somewhere.
Debbie, you have been an absolute joy and a complete pleasure. I'm very honored to be here with you today. Thank you so much for joining us on our Wine Soundtrack Canada podcast. Can you remind all of the listeners where they can find your wines, and can they visit your tasting room?
So we're open year-round, but people are surprised. Always Wednesday through Sunday, sometimes a bit more during the summertime. We are very localized in our wine availability because we sell most of what we produce, but we are in some local private liquor stores around the area. Also, one of the biggest distributors around here is Save On Foods for BC wines, so we're able to send to a few provinces in Canada. Unfortunately, not outside of Canada yet. Our friends always say, can't we order and bring? Not yet. You'll find that in BC there's all different sizes of wineries, and because we're a family owned and a bit smaller, it's a little bit more of a challenge, but if you can find one of our bottles, I can assure you it'll be worth it.
I agree. What is your website address, please, Debbie, and your social media handles should our listeners want to follow you?
Perfect. So it's singletreewinery.com is our website, and then Singletree Wine is our handle.
Once again, an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Do you have any final words to leave the listeners today?
I'd love to see you. Come visit. We're back open again, and just as I said, I love meeting new people and showing them our wines in the area, and I love talking to them about other regions as well.
Perfect. Thank you all, and we wish you a wonderful day from the Wine Soundtrack Canada podcast.
Thanks for listening to a new episode of Wine Soundtrack Canada. For updates and details, visit our website, winesoundtrack.com.